I am Nate WL777 with special guest,
Vinyl Killer.
and this is Character Piece. Today we'll be reviewing an anime by the name of Tiger and Bunny. It was originally released in 2011, though it was bought out by Netflix and re-released, I think, in 2017 for a larger audience. This is 25 episodes long. It is an action, comedy, science fiction genre anime. The series revolves around heroes called Next. These are humans with superpowers who actually have been contractually paid to work for Hero TV. Hero TV then broadcasts their good heroic deeds, stopping the bad guys for ratings. Tiger and Bunny are a newly formed group for Hero TV, and that's where the anime picks up. Do you have any thoughts on the anime?
I thought it was really good visually. It was pleasure. It was a pleasure to the eye with the animation. Sound effects were perfect for the kind of anime it was. I didn't really have any problems with it. I liked it.
Very pleasing. I will start out with the animation, and I will say that the animation is probably the strongest thing in this. It looks great. It's done very clean and very well, and I think it's very consistent. There's not very many moments that you feel like it kind of failed or it was flat. Maybe just a few, just a couple, but it's very clean. It's very colorful. It's very eye-popping and bright, and it's geared more toward a younger crowd, and I think that shows in the style that they use, but I think they do a very good job. The style itself works well. They do a lot with the TV broadcasting part of it, and a lot of the animation involved with that, where, you know what I mean, they're showing the camera on them. They got the just like you would any kind of a news broadcast or something. They got all the little things on the side, and I think that looked really, really good. I thought it was very, very well done. The good character design too. I thought that was done well. The world building was done well. I think the animation is a very strong suit in this one. The fight scenes are probably the best thing. The fight scenes and the action scenes, they do a very good job of creating that environment, and it looks great. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with you again. It was a great anime, and the animation, it tops it off.
I was very impressed. This is one where Chase tried to talk me into watching it, and I was a little hesitant at first because it's not necessarily my kind of anime. I like a lot more depth, a lot more adult. So I was a little hesitant, but once we started watching it, I felt like it was definitely worth watching. The story itself is not overly deep. It doesn't take itself very serious, and I think that's enjoyable. However, in parts where it needs to be serious and there needs to be that dramatic effect, I think they do a very good job as well. I think that they are able to bounce back and forth between the two, giving you a little bit of lighthearted levity and goofiness to it, and then also being able to create some of the background for the characters in the story, where it is a lot more serious and there's serious things going on. I think that it did a good job of diving into most of the different characters and showing a lot of the background for the different ones, and I really, really appreciated that. So yeah, it did a good job of keeping me interested too. There wasn't very many times. I think some episodes are better than others, and there are some times in the episodes where it might drag a little, but I think it's a very minor complaint. I think overall, pretty much all of the episodes kept me entertained, kept me wanting to go on. Chase comes to my house every other weekend, and so we stretched this 25 episodes out for quite a while, and pretty much whenever he would come, it was like, I would really like to dive back into that and watch some more. I think that says something about the storyline to keep me engaged, especially because it's geared toward a younger audience, and as an adult, I was really wanting to push forward and get through it. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, and what he was saying with all of the episodes, there was one character in particular, his name was Rock Bison, he was one of the Next. He didn't really get a whole story about him. Like, every other character got one, and Rock Bison, which was one I really wanted to see a story to.
Me too.
Me and Dad. We really wanted to see a story about. He didn't really get one. I mean, he made appearances, but
Yeah, he didn't get the full load like most people do. I think there was one episode where it kind of mixed him and Tiger together, but there was like. All right, well, we'll get into the characters. That leads us into the characters. So I think that the characters themselves are well done. I think that the design of the characters and the differences between their personalities and their powers, all of it very diverse, and I felt like that was a very good aspect to it. I mean, really, I could go through the list of them. Origami. I'm not even as good at names as you are, but it's interesting when you look at them all from different perspectives. They all bring something different to the table, and I do think that they all looked very unique and separate from themselves. So I thought that was very good. As far as like the chemistry between them was great. Not everybody got along all the time, but that's just a reflection of reality. If you get a group of people together, they're not all going to be best friends. They're going to have problems and they're going to have issues with each other. I felt like that was on display here, and I think it works well. So as far as yeah, like you were saying, I wish that they would have explored a little bit more into Rock Bison in particular. Outside of that, I do think they did a fairly good job of exploring most of them. Like I said, some of the characters got a little left out, but this is a Tiger and Bunny show, and 25 episodes. I think that they focused more on Tiger and Barney. Bunny. They definitely gave them the majority of the time, and that makes sense. They're the main characters. Again, small complaints about some of that. Just kind of wishing that they would have fleshed out maybe a couple of the characters a little bit more. They kind of got pushed to the side and left out, probably for time restraints. How do you feel about that? Characters are good?
Yeah, characters are amazing.
Yeah, I thought that was a big strong point as well. The designs I thought looked really good. Voiceover work, I think, works well also. This is done well. I think that the dialogue that they gave him to work with, again, not a super deep story. It's geared more towards kids, but the dialogue wasn't corny. There wasn't a lot of it. Maybe a couple times where, same with characters, like maybe there's a little bit that didn't work, but very small things. I thought overall it definitely worked. And the dialogue that they gave him worked along with the voiceover. It was done well. So I enjoyed that aspect of it. As far as if it's okay for kids, well, obviously I'm sitting here with my son. There is just a small little bit of maybe design of one of the characters where just a little bit of a cleavage show. So just a small little thing on there. It wasn't enough to make me stop having Chase watch it. And ultimately, I mean, do you feel like it was overly done?
I think it would be okay for if the parents let them. There was also a couple scenes. There was this one guy who had a whip and he was chasing girls or something. I don't know. It was really ridiculous.
I probably forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, with anime, unfortunately, you deal with some of that sometimes. A little bit different, but wasn't overly done like that. There wasn't a whole lot in here. So I felt like, and as far as like what they were saying and stuff, I don't remember a lot of talk like that. So I thought that was done okay. So no, I would let my kid watch it. I did. He's right here reviewing it with me. Now that brings me to my favorite character, and my favorite character is Lunatic. Lunatic is an anti-hero. He marches to the beat of his own drum, and he kind of views things from his own perspective, how he feels if somebody's doing something right or if somebody's doing something wrong. He's not one of those people that can be controlled easily. I think I relate to him in a lot of those aspects. So I very much enjoyed that part about him, and that's what separated him. I think that there's a lot of people I could have chose from. I did like Rock Bison a lot. I think ultimately the reason I didn't choose Rock Bison, even though I like the way that he looked and I liked his character, was because they didn't dive into him that much. They did give a little bit more time to Lunatic, but I feel like they did a pretty good job fleshing out the majority of the characters, but ultimately this is the one that spoke with me. He separated himself, I think, a little bit because he did do things his own way. What about you?
I would have to go with Kotetsu, Wild Tiger. He was one of the main characters. He's obviously Tiger and Bunny. He got a lot of story to him, so we found out a lot about his childhood. I mean, not childhood, but like his past. So he got a lot of explanation, and it was kind of better to be able to see all of these different aspects about him, and we basically were able to build a character with him. We were able to build a bond with him while going through this anime, and I don't know, I liked him a lot.
Yeah, and he was another character that I could have easily picked. I think Tiger was done pretty well. He's a father, and I think a big part of his storyline was wanting to be more of a father instead of always having to work. And I think it was a struggle in him throughout the whole thing. I thought that was a good aspect to it. Obviously, being a father, I could relate to that. So I thought Tiger was a really good character. He was very good. All right, now that brings us to our rating. Chase, I'm going to go ahead and let you rate it first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
8.8, 8.9.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I have this thing rated at an 8.7. Again, this is geared a little bit more to a younger audience, but it worked well enough that I could watch it and not even have a problem with it. I very much enjoyed watching it. I very much wanted to get to the end of it. Many times I would try to get him off of Fortnite so that we could watch them. So obviously it did a good job of creating the world that it wanted to create and giving us an anime that we could watch and enjoy. I would very much recommend this, especially for a younger audience, since it is a lot more lighthearted and since there is such little amount of things that would be offensive to a young kid that they couldn't watch. So yeah, I highly recommend this. I think this is a great anime, and as far as the ones that Netflix have put out, I think it's at the higher level of Netflix animes for sure. All right, well, thanks for watching us. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link below like I always do, but the link below I leave is not to a Netflix, but I would highly encourage you to watch it on Netflix and give it a rating, because I want people to encourage Netflix to continue to run with these animes, especially with the good ones. I think that there's some in there that they didn't do a very good job with. I'll be doing a lot more reviews. I've got a couple Netflix ones coming up, but I want to definitely help promote Netflix's anime department and keep encouraging them. Please keep loading up new animes for us and get better at them, get some good ones. So anyways, thanks for watching. If you got anything out of this anime review, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the future.